They tricked the single dad on a blind date. The paralyzed woman turned out to be the CEO. Jake Thompson was used to long nights and early mornings. As a single dad juggling 2 kids and a modest accounting job in Chicago, dating was the last thing on his mind. But after persistent nudging from his sister, he finally agreed to a blind date, reluctantly. When he arrived at the upscale café, he noticed the other patrons staring at a woman sitting near the window. She had a gentle smile and kind eyes, but she was in a wheelchair, her hands resting lightly on the armrests. Jake's heart softened instantly. He admired courage, and there was something disarmingly calm about her presence. "Hi, I'm Emily," she said warmly, extending a hand. Jake hesitated for a moment, then shook it, feeling a spark of connection. The conversation started awkwardly, but soon they were laughing over shared stories about parenting mishaps and work-life chaos. Emily had a sharp sense of humor, a quick mind, and an empathetic way of seeing the world. By the end of the hour, Jake felt like he'd known her for years. What he didn't know was that this Emily was part of a small social experiment orchestrated by the cafe's staff and a few friends. She was actually the CEO of a major tech company in town. Paralyzed after a car accident several years prior, the staff wanted to test whether someone could see past appearances, fame, and wealth, to notice character first. Jake didn't care about status or money. He cared about warmth, laughter, and a sense of understanding. That authenticity resonated with Emily more than any fancy title ever could. As they were finishing dessert, Emily leaned forward slightly. "Jake, I have a confession," she said. Her eyes twinkled. "I'm not exactly who you think I am. I'm the CEO of one of Chicago's largest tech firms. But I wanted to see if someone would just see me. Not my wheelchair, not my title, just me." Jake blinked. The cafe seemed to hold its breath, but instead of being intimidated, he smiled. "You don't have to be anyone else for me," he said softly. "I liked Emily, that's enough." Emily's smile grew, a mix of relief and admiration. She realized then that true kindness was rare. Someone who didn't care about wealth or status, but about heart. She also realized she'd found someone she could trust. Someone who would love her, her vulnerability and all, not despite it. In the weeks that followed, Jake and Emily spent more time together, navigating both love and life's daily challenges. Emily found herself laughing more than she had in years. Jake felt supported in ways he never expected, and their children adored her immediately, drawn to her genuine care and humor. The blind date that started as a playful experiment turned into something profound, a reminder that true connection isn't about titles, appearances, or societal expectations. It's about empathy, kindness, and the courage to see people as they are. Sometimes, the biggest surprises in life come wrapped in humility and honesty, and Jake's act of simple, heartfelt connection became Emily's greatest revelation. In a world obsessed with status and appearances, they reminded each other that humanity and kindness will always shine brighter than any title. The next morning, Jake found a note slipped under his door. It was from Emily, written in her elegant, precise handwriting. "Coffee tomorrow? I want to hear more about your kids' adventures, and maybe tell you a few of my own." Jake smiled, feeling a warmth he hadn't felt in years. He realized something. This connection wasn't just about romance. It was about trust, acceptance, and seeing life through someone else's eyes. The following weekend, Emily invited Jake and the kids to her home. It wasn't a mansion in the movies. It was a modern house with sunlight pouring through large windows, filled with books, art, and the faint aroma of fresh coffee. But more than the surroundings, it was the feeling of welcome. She knelt to meet the kids at their level, asked about their school projects, laughed at their jokes, and even let them decorate her wheelchair with temporary stickers, something Jake hadn't expected. But they all found delightful. During lunch, Emily's assistant arrived with a tablet, subtly showing Jake snapshots of her work, major projects, board meetings, and philanthropic initiatives. Jake nodded respectfully but didn't let it intimidate him. He focused instead on Emily's stories about overcoming her accident, her fears, and the small victories that gave her strength every day. "That's incredible," Jake said softly. You've built all this and yet you're so grounded. Emily smiled, touched. Because I've seen what really matters. Titles, money, they're fleeting. It's human connection that sticks, Jake. And you reminded me of that. Weeks turned into months. The kids became inseparable from Emily, calling her Aunt Em. And Jake found himself growing in ways he hadn't expected. Patience, hope, and a renewed belief in love. And Emily, for the first time in years, felt the joy of being seen for who she truly was, not what she had achieved. One crisp Saturday afternoon, they went to the park. Jake's son threw a frisbee. His daughter ran ahead laughing, and Emily followed in her wheelchair, a bright scarf trailing in the wind. Passerby paused, staring for a moment, probably judging. But Jake didn't care. He caught Emily's eye and winked. In that instant, nothing else mattered. You know, Emily said, her voice soft but firm, I think we both got tricked in a way. Jake laughed. Yet by life. Or maybe by fate. Emily chuckled, leaning back slightly. By fate, I hope. But the trick was beautiful. It brought me to someone who cares, really cares. And in that moment, surrounded by laughter, sunlight, and the pure joy of ordinary life, Jake and Emily realized the truth. Real love, real connection, and genuine kindness can't be faked. They are discovered quietly, unexpectedly, and often in the simplest acts of humanity. From that day forward, their lives intertwined like threads in a tapestry, each moment colored with warmth, laughter, and gratitude. And while the world outside often focused on status, wealth, and appearances, Jake, Emily, and the children reminded each other every day that true value lies in the heart, in empathy, love, and the courage to be truly seen. Months later, Emily organized a small charity gala at her company's headquarters. Jake had expected a typical corporate event, suits, speeches, and a lot of polished smiles, but Emily had another plan. As the evening progressed, she asked Jake to join her on stage. The room quieted, curious murmurs spreading among the guests. Jake's heart raced. He wasn't used to attention, let alone a room full of executives and philanthropists. Emily wheeled forward, her face radiant. Tonight isn't just about our foundation, she began, her voice steady but warm. It's about humanity, compassion, and recognizing true character. And there's someone here who reminded me what that really means. Someone who doesn't see titles or wealth. Someone who sees people for who they are. She turned toward Jake. Jake Thompson, a devoted father, a kind soul. A man who taught me more about love, trust, and selflessness than I could ever learn from any boardroom. You saw me. You saw me before my wheelchair, before my title, before my fame. You saw Emily. The room erupted in applause. Jake's eyes widened, cheeks flushing. He shook his head, embarrassed but deeply moved. I didn't do anything, he murmured. Emily's smile softened. You did. You did everything that matters. At that moment, Jake realized that love, respect, and humanity could create ripples far bigger than any wealth or status. The gala wasn't just a celebration of charity. It was a celebration of authenticity, of seeing the person behind the exterior, and of the courage to love fully, without conditions. After the applause, Jake and Emily stepped outside into the cool evening air. The city lights shimmered around them, reflecting the glow of a shared joy neither had anticipated. Jake took Emily's hand. I think we fooled each other, he said softly. Emily laughed, the sound light and free.